proudly presents the Wrestling is Real podcast, because wrestling needs us. Brought to you by KingofAmazon.com. Go to KingofAmazon.com when you do your shopping for Amazon to help the King of Podcasts. Shop for Amazon at KingofAmazon.com.
Boneyard match. Boneyard match. Wow. I can't even tell you. There's not enough to say about how good that was. Epic. Fantastic. It's some of the best wrestling content that WWE's given us since the Attitude Era. I'm not even afraid to say that part. When you look at the attempts to kind of do the things that the Final Deletion gave us, right? Which was one of those first times we really saw something that was like out of the box, you know, really kind of putting out in almost like a thematic kind of feel, like a cinematic type of feel. But of course, Final Deletion looked like a really good student film compared to this. Because when WWE is against the wall, they're struggling with ratings. You're just dealing with stuff where when you got to put out a good show, and you're saying to yourself, man, we're in a tough spot right now. Okay, we have done this type of thing before where we tried to put something together that was outside the ring, that was really just something that was outside of the whole mix. You know, the House of Horrors. You think of, you know, the New Day against the Wyatt family. And this right here, I mean, they put the best production crew they had to do this. This must have been done at AJ's house in Gainesville, Georgia, for the way it was set up. This thing, it was, I mean, the way they shot the thing was perfect. It was motion picture, big scale motion picture good. No, actually not even motion picture. It's Netflix movie good. Okay? It's a good Netflix movie. They pulled that shit off. Fantastic. Undertaker and AJ, the jaw jacking between each other, when it's just them talking, nothing scripted, nothing at all. Like, you could just see, you know what you got to do with this match. These guys are two old workhorses. They know what they're doing. And they did it. They had a good, the storyline was what it was. It was a typical Undertaker storyline leading up to a match. AJ with lots of offense in this match. You had Gallows and Anderson. You had the Druids. It was really pretty well. It was kind of a simple story. They kept it in mainly the same spot. They had a pretty simple storyboard to it. And it was executed to perfection. Let me say that again. Executed to perfection. That's about as good as it gets. I am the kind of person that enjoy the Lucha Underground stuff. And when you see something like this is not, we don't need to go ahead and say WWE needs to do this all the time. No. But this is special. This is very special. This made WrestleMania worthy. This particular match was WrestleMania quality in every sense of the word. They did it. They accomplished. If that's what they were trying to do, man, they did it above and beyond. And everybody is a naysayer, normally a very critical podcaster. They are praising this match. Praising it. Of course, they're going to shit on the rest of the show. I don't feel so much about that for day one of WrestleMania 36, but for myself, so well done. So well done. I mean, when I look at the whole match from top to tail, AJ acting like coming out with a hearse and just badass in the casket was funny. Told you that there was going to be something to go with this. AJ playing the part up. He's been playing, leading up to the storyline. It was perfect. Undertaker as the American badass here fit really well. And for Undertaker and his limited mobility, this was perfect for him. This was ideal for him. He looked great in this match. The look, the music they put on for him, the music they used for throughout, this was good. You could have made this was the ending of a good 90-minute, 2-hour action movie. That could have been in a theater. But, I mean, of course, people might not know enough to really resonate and say, okay, this is a big box office movie. But if you put this on Netflix, you could have made a 2-hour movie like this. This is like better than what the Marine or any other WWE studio stuff is. Like, they had to put some work into this. I mean, obviously, some of the things he did to prop the whole Boneyard was good to set the whole thing up. Like, it was more than a music video. It was just, I mean, the production, what they put behind this match was amazing. If you were going to get people to go ahead and pay extra price, if you're going to get them to go ahead and be persuaded to go to Fox Sports or Fight TV and spend full price, you're going to have some people leaving that first night of action, not feeling so bad about $30. Not going to feel so bad about that, because that was very well done. And, think about it. When you got the people behind Fox and USA and all these people saying you just can't put just some traditional match in the Performance Center. Well, they didn't. What they did here was solid. I thought what they really did, I mean, for what it was worth for the whole night, was very good. But let me just continue my thoughts about the Boneyard match. These two worked very well together. The Gallows and Anderson bit was very well done. I think both of them getting a chance to really just beat the piss out of each other. The moments where Undertaker was about to be done, breathing heavily, looked like Undertaker was done for. The AJ was going to take him down for good, and AJ's talking shit. Then the turnaround. Let me tell you, that was the other thing that's got to be said too. Because this was cinematic, you were allowed to have the suspension of disbelief. That's the truth. The suspension of belief is allowed here, because them Undertaker getting thrown into the grave, okay, and then coming out automatically getting behind AJ Styles, that works. And nobody's going to say shit about that. And I think you knew what the match was going to be. You can see it's like a tombstone. It's a graveyard match. So yeah, like a casket match. You got to bury it alive. That's basically what it was. You could see how this match was going to end. They kind of just they didn't say it flat out. No commentary. Perfect. This is the way it was supposed to be done. I mean, even just just the music and having the people introduced, just the way it was done. Stand alone. WrestleMania moment. That's it. I feel bad for the guys tomorrow. Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Edge, John Cena, Bray Wyatt. My God, I don't think they could even come close to this. I don't even know how you put John Cena, Bray Wyatt as good as this. I mean, maybe they got something they got pulled out of their sleeve. I don't know. But when you see WWE with their asses on the wall and they know they're in a tough spot, they're going to pull off this WrestleMania without a crowd, without the merchandise, without the tickets, without the gate, with all the revelry of the international fan base coming in to create this electric atmosphere. You don't have any of that. It's all that energy's out of there. And then you got to find a way to get that energy to make this whole pay-per-view work. Well, the first thing by doing two nights was not a bad idea. When people are going to be home, this was okay. I couldn't mind that too much. But now, what I have to say as well is, I think the matches themselves were actually pretty good. I don't have much bad to say about the rest of the night. I thought the first hour really sucked. I didn't like first couple of matches that came out with. I wasn't really impressed by. I mean, but again, it felt like very much Raw, SmackDown. Really underwhelming to start off the night. So day one, you start off with Cesaro over Drew Gulak. Then Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross win the women's tag team titles. Nikki Cross with a pretty good performance. I'll say that. King Corbin Elias was Elias gets the win. I was surprised there. I thought the Raw Women's title, I thought Shayna Baszler did a really good job. Really, it was just a battle of both of them going over their own submissions. That was really the story of it. Wasn't a long match, as a matter of fact. I was actually surprised by that. And Becky wins. But the way they did it was kind of like how Kairi Sane won when she won the NXT Women's title over Shayna Baszler. Was the same kind of idea. Fluke victory. So you could continue that feud. I really enjoyed Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan. I thought those two together, I thought Sami Zayn just being like a little chicken shit and pulling off really like a Larry Zbyszko style, just getting outside of the ring and all that. And that match felt like a little revelry when you had other guys out there doing stuff. And I thought that actually wasn't bad. I was surprised to see that Sami Zayn would retain, but they decided, and I was fine. The triple threat ladder match was actually quite good. A lot of time, too. And interesting to see that this was one that you felt like, okay, yeah, the crowd could have been really helpful in this match, but I thought they did pretty good for what it was worth. I thought the match, they put 3 guys that have been very prominently featured in ladder matches and Money in the Bank matches for a long time. Not so much Jimmy Uso, but I'll tell you, they did a good job of this match for what it's worth. I enjoyed that. I like Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins. I think it would have been real shit if they didn't turn into a new DQ, but like I see what they tried to do. Seth got the win off of that initially. Well, Kevin Owens got the DQ win, and then they decided to restart. I actually like that. That actually kind of redeemed that match for me. 17 minutes. Very surprised to see Braun Strowman in very quick fashion. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Quick worker Goldberg. Just like that. And that's all I got to say for WrestleMania 36 first night, except for the Boneyard match. That right there was, amazing how they pulled that off. It was something of just, it was greatness. Like, really, I'm not a big Undertaker guy. I'm not saying I don't respect all the work he's done and all the matches he's had, but this was my favorite match of his, of any of them. This is the best Undertaker match I ever saw. For my sake. I know other people are going to say Shawn Michaels, the 2 matches they had together, or, whatever. But this was my favorite match. By far. This is, talk about a way to use Undertaker. And the way they finished it was just epic. They let Braun Strowman and Goldberg have the match before to finish with Boneyard match was excellent. Well played, WWE. Very well played. So I want to take a few minutes now to talk about the reason they really had to put this show together. When you look at the whole show, I'm looking at it from a business standpoint. Because you got to say to yourself, I get it, man. It's not easy for this company to go and just pull the plug. I give them a lot of credit for pulling it off. And I think fans, after they see this first night, and tomorrow night, I think they'll feel really overall, even though the build-up to this show had been kind of shitty, there have been a couple of highlights in here and there. I will admit, some of the promos have been very good. My thing was, it was really tough to kind of pull this off with a build. But again, this company has been dealing with that for a long time. Not being able to build up to a good pay-per-view, they're notorious for that now. When is the last time they really built a strong pay-per-view going back a while? Like, they can get matches with a good, strong build, but they can't get a whole pay-per-view with a good, strong build. That's tough for them to do. They're not able to do that anymore. I don't think they're capable of doing that. The same way they're not capable of really building up faces is the same way they're incapable of building up good feuds. I think it's hard for them to do. Because the build-up for The Undertaker AJ Styles wasn't amazing. Did not blow my mind, but I think they did a really good job of it. The Undertaker, his last promo leading up, I thought AJ did pretty good to get things started off. There wasn't too much in between, but then Undertaker coming back, promo before, kicked ass. And the way this match, Boneyard match, just paid it off. Like, that match paid off big time. The other ones, not so much. But then again, what kind of a build were those? So that's their normal situation. Again, what do we miss? No crowds. This was a night where I don't feel like the crowd was too much missed. I mean, early on, yes, but I don't feel much difference when it came to the ladder match. I don't feel much difference when it came to Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, and same thing with Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn. I really didn't feel any difference about the crowd being there. I didn't really think about it. And most important, the Boneyard match tonight, I want to say for a good 30 minutes, I forgot about everything else that was going on. Because sometimes you're just kind of like thinking about, we're in this confinement of coronavirus, right? And then I'm just saying to myself, man, it stays point of mind. It just kind of stays focused, right? Can't get away from it. But here, this match does what movies did for me. Took me away. It successfully preoccupied me for a good 30 minutes I didn't think of anything else. I was just enjoying it, laughing at some of the stuff that was being said because just the jaw jacking was hilarious. I was laughing because it was so good. I mean, nothing hokey, nothing corny about this. This was just badass. Attitude Era would have loved this. Like, I mean, anybody who was old school would have loved this. If you're not like, if it should be in the ring, well, you can't do this in the ring. I think we could really see some more of this, but man, they put so much into this. Can they pull off more stuff like this? I think people would really enjoy this on Raw and SmackDown. I'm just saying, I know people are going to say that. They're going to run that to the ground. This is what Raw and SmackDown should be like all the time. Well, I get that part, but they're not doing a scripted series. They're not doing like Netflix type quality. Like even those shows are limited series with 10, 13 episodes at a time, maybe in a year or 2 years. This was once in a lifetime. I mean, there are special occasions you can pull this off again, and I think they better. They've gotten themselves into something. This is something that's going to get people talking. This match is getting everybody talking. You're going to talk about this match for years. Like Final Deletion, we've talked about for the last 4 years, and we loved it. And all the stuff AEW has been doing has been great. But even AEW is going to say to themselves, the Elite's going to be looking at this and be like, fuck, that was pretty good. There's a lot of money they put into that, man. A lot of work, a lot of production, a lot of manpower. They pulled that off. I'd love to know what the kind of production they had to do that. Like, I'd like to know the backstory of that. I hope they do it 24/7 just on the behind the scenes of the Boneyard match. I want to see that. I don't know about you. That would be really fun to watch. So I put in the description tonight, when you look at the amount of sponsorships and partnerships that WWE had going into WrestleMania 36, you can understand now they probably didn't have a choice. Look, Snickers, their relationship with, that credit card they had out there. When you look at Papa John's, when you look at, they have so many different sponsorships they're a part of. The relationship with Fox, the relationship with Universal, with E! Network and Total Bellas. There's so much of their own content. I mean, the video game with Batista. There's so much of them going on outside of their own ilk that we don't really realize how much they're doing outside of the wrestling product. Like, this is them really taking the WWE brand and monetizing the fuck out of it. And it doesn't really make much of a difference for the wrestling fans, the purists, the people that watch the product, the base audience. But the way they make this look, those commercials are really, like, it's amazing how much is being done. 5 Hour Energy of Papa John's. Like, they're putting some big money. They got some really good sponsors in there that were willing to put some good premium money into this pay-per-view. All that they were going to lose. Like, the one thing they couldn't do is lose the deals they had. If they had these certain deals, they pulled them off. They got them set up for WrestleMania. There's a lot of money to be made off of that. To go ahead and give up the gate, I mean, you have to think about how much was it going to be to go and have Raymond James for that night, for all the concessions, everything that we're going to make, how much money they were going to make off the show itself. Yes, it's going to make a lot of money. The city of Tampa was going to make a lot of money. Absolutely right. It's unfortunate for them. But, man, when you look at it all together, you got to say to yourself, yeah, it's got to be tough. It's going to be tough to put all that together, But what are you going to do, man? Like, just how much money could this company afford to lose from WrestleMania weekend? The Hall of Fame didn't get to happen. I don't even know what they're going to do with that. Because, I mean, they're going to have to wait. I guess it's going to have to get pushed to SummerSlam if they're going to do it at all. So you don't have that. Don't have an NXT TakeOver. That's the other thing. No NXT TakeOver to go ahead and really bitch and moan about that was better than WrestleMania this year. We don't have that. There's so much to be said about what they get from this. Like, they lost a lot of money doing all that they did, which other companies did. But for them, I can see for Vince, that was going to hemorrhage a lot of cash. And the thing was, in their spot when it comes to the economy, I think they're trying to do themselves a favor by trying to keep themselves relevant because they can't. Remember, there is a thing about seeing be said about, yes, we're in this bad predicament, but you got to say something about this too. Is that for what it's worth? Number one, yes, the stock price has suffered badly because of this. Like, they've been going down, 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 down. But the thing is, they have to do something. Like, it was a year ago, they were around, let me see. The highest they were at one point was almost $70 on October 7th of last year. Now, they had already had their issues going into the first quarter of 2020. They were at 64. So they were getting themselves at a certain spot. Now, going back a year, it was even higher than that. Remember, it was higher. But they've had this gradual decline. The thing was, now they're at such a deep point that for themselves, they can't allow themselves, after what happened, this gradual decline of the stock price, which was at the start of the year, $64. They're less than half of that now. They're 34. Oh, they're almost half. At this point, they got us low at the very end of the stock price down to $30. They're up to 34 right now. They're just trying to stay on. There's so much money that you lost right now in terms of revenue in the stocks, the devaluing of those stocks, plus the loss of WrestleMania because they couldn't pull the show off. For them, this is them still trying to keep money coming in. They got to keep money coming in. Remember, you also have independent contractors. You're trying to keep these people paid. All those wrestlers were going to get laid off. They're not going to get any back pay. I don't know what they're going to get for terms of health insurance. Think about it like that, too. The workers, man. There's a lot of people that got on this show tonight that, or tomorrow night as well. Those people wouldn't have gotten any paychecks. Same thing like us, man. Would have been the same thing, too. So there's that. Then there's the money they made and the work they did to get the partnerships. If they could keep that going and they could do it within all the other confines, business-wise, I think they made the right decision. For the fans, they might not feel the same way. The ratings have not shown it so much. But then again, wrestling's taking a hit altogether. But so is everything else. Right now, people are not necessarily in entertainment watching, wrestling right now. It's not what they're looking for. Because the problem is, too, is that with wrestling, the empty arena serves as a reminder of the fact that we are in a different time. So people are inclined to go ahead and either stick themselves to the news, which is not a good thing for them to do, or they're escaping to Netflix. Anything that's scripted or reality or whatever it is, or movies, where they don't have to think about anything. They just want to escape. And so that's where they are. So for a little bit, people went and watched because we got wrestling. But then I think the empty arenas did hurt a little bit. And I think seeing the empty arenas initially hurt. And just trying to block that off a bit was not a bad idea. The way they pulled it off was, they needed to do something. I still think wrestling's going to come back. The wrestling audience will come back, the meager audience there was before. And I think for the good of wrestling fans and for everybody else, and for WWE itself, they had to keep pulling this stuff off. They had to keep doing something. So, listen, they already got a sacrifice. They lost the gate. They lost the merchandise. They lost all the nights they were going to pull off at Amalie Arena or whatever it's called now. And, 4 nights of entertainment. They were going to make a lot of money off those nights from the international crowd. But everybody understands. It's not like it's just a situation that's worldwide. Everybody's being affected by it. Every wrestling fan from every country that they would have been coming from to come to Tampa Bay this weekend, they're all being affected right now in one way or the other. Their countries are being affected in one way or the other by coronavirus. So they have to do this. If they were protecting the wrestlers, okay. If they did that, I understand. For them, it's also they can make money still. And that the flights were still going on, people can get to where they needed to go. Good for them. Can't knock them for making the decision they made. I Don't have any issues from that at all. I think that was a smart move. Like I said, overall, I was okay with day one. Tomorrow night, looking at what the pay-per-view is going to be, we'll start off with Liv Morgan and Natalya for the pre-show. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's title. Brock Lesnar will take on Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. John Cena versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt in a Firefly Funhouse match. Bayley versus Lacey Evans versus Naomi versus Sasha Banks versus Tamina in a fatal 5-way elimination match for the SmackDown Women's title. Street Profits versus Austin Theory and Angel Garza for the Raw Tag Team titles. Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. Edge versus Randy Orton in the last man standing match. And Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. And I will say I did like how the Otis Dolph Ziggler thing came out. I'm still trying to figure out who that person is that pulled out the video. I want to find out what that's going to be about. You know, this is like the Gold Dust DV segments from the past. You know, we want to see what is going to happen here with Sonya Deville and screwing over the whole deal with Otis and Mandy. We got to see that story get played out. Maybe we'll get that tomorrow. So, like, I like all of this right here. That storyline is getting nice and good. It's a good little love triangle. I like that. And, yeah, other than that, tomorrow, I think Charlotte and Rhea are going to have a really good match together. I look forward to that. Brock and Drew will be an interesting match. I'd like to see Drew win still. John Cena and The Fiend, I mean, they're going to probably put the same kind of effort they put in the Boneyard match into this. It's going to be just something different. So we got an action thriller type movie for Boneyard. So we're going to get horror movie type stuff for the Firefly Funhouse. Now I'm excited what they're going to do. I'm very excited what they're going to do with that match. That's going to be interesting. Now, will they finish the night of the main events with that match at the end? Will the Firefly Funhouse match be the end? By the way, what they did on SmackDown to finish up that was very good. You're going to play with this forever. All the little puppets coming up, popping out from the barricades, and Bray Wyatt from behind while the Fiend is looking out. That's pretty damn good. I like the build for that match so far. And I gotta tell you something. You know, John Cena giving his promo like he did, kind of playing back to the original match when he took out Bray Wyatt before, when he was Wyatt family at his peak. Tell you, that match could be really well done. Like, there's a good story behind that too. So if they're putting that cinematic feel into that match, I mean, it's gonna be another epic night. And I'll tell you, if we come away, if Drew McIntyre wins tomorrow, you know what? If Edge beats up Randy Orton and we get a really good match out of that, and that Firefly Funhouse match gives us the expectations the Boneyard match does, then I'm going to give WrestleMania a pretty good grade. I guess at least going to get a B grade. Like, they're not going to hit with every match, but they're going to hit with a lot of them. And I'll tell you, an above average WrestleMania in this situation is great. So give it a chance tomorrow, man. I'll tell you, that looks good. For all the complaints we might have, man, that was really well done. I enjoyed what they did tonight. It was, it was a B. It was a straight B grade tonight. The Boneyard match gets a lot of points for what they did. Like, it really did good. Also, not long, 3 hours. Good. We're going to get another 4 hours tomorrow. I actually kind of like the Corey Graves, Pete Rosenberg stuff going on. I actually like that better than the whole 4-person crew they do with the kickoff show. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought Rosenberg really worked well with Corey Graves. I thought they worked really well together, as a matter of fact. So, I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm pretty excited for tomorrow. I like it. So I'm going to leave it there. We got a lot to talk about tomorrow. Day 2, WrestleMania. We'll be back here 24 hours from now for another Wrestling is Real podcast, because wrestling needs us.
Thank you for listening to the Wrestling is Real podcast, brought to you by KingofAmazon.com. For more information on how to subscribe to the show, how to share the Wrestling is Real podcast to listeners like you, and check out the latest wrestling headlines, go to WrestlingIsReal.com. That's WrestlingIsReal.com.